Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mini Sky Tonight. And for our hot topics in astronomy, we're covering the unique interstellar asteroid known as Oumuamua. I had a viewer ask me about this and what my personal thoughts were. So let's dive into this mysterious interstellar asteroid or possible comet that entered into our solar system and set the astronomical community abuzz. So what do we know? Well, on October 19th of 2017, they discovered using the University of Hawaii Pan-STARRS telescope this unique object that came from the vicinity of Vega and was not of our solar system. It was named Oumuamua because it's Hawaiian for messenger from afar arriving first. So basically a distant messenger from the stars. And it was originally classified as a comet given how far away it was. But as we looked at it a little more, it had other unique properties, and we weren't quite sure what it was. So we started to do some more research. So after it was first discovered by Pan-STARRS in their effort to look for near-Earth orbit objects, they asked a bunch of other astronomers and other observatories to say, hey, we found this unique object. Can you take a look at it? And after doing some further research, they realized it was an extraterrestrial object. Now, you can see where this goes. The media has a fun time taking words out of context. When an astronomer says it's one thing, it can get misinterpreted to something else. I know that was a classic example when I mentioned Schiaparelli, when he mentioned that there were Chanels on Mars, and they were technically these dark grooves, when it got misinterpreted as canals and thinking that there's a civilization on Mars. Well, the same thing with this. They said, yeah, it's an extraterrestrial object. And they thought, oh no, it's UFOs. It's basically a UFO that's coming into our solar system. And it took wildfire. So yeah, this is one of those classic, the media twists it to basically get likes and views, and it really wasn't what it's supposed to be. Now, the idea of this type of object is not new. Astronomers have believed for some time that during early formations of solar systems outside of our own, sometimes objects get flown out. Sometimes we call those rogue planets or rogue asteroids. So we honestly thought that, hey, maybe this is a rogue asteroid. But the chances of something rogue, given how vast our universe is, and even within our own galaxy, how vast the distance between stars is, the chances of an object from another solar system to enter into our solar system is incredibly rare. So the fact that we actually got to see something was what set the astronomical community abuzz, was that something from another solar system, whether it was a brand new solar system and an older solar system, something outside came into ours, and we were able to study it, because many of these types of objects are so far away that they're incredibly faint to see. In fact, even now, Oumuamua is so far away, it's out past the orbit of Saturn that we can't even detect it anymore. So the fact that we were able to see something from another solar system and it got close enough to where we can do some observations of it was a tremendous blessing. In fact, it was traveling at 196,000 miles per hour. So it was zipping by. So we had a very short window to observe it. But what we did have discovered, it was this rocky kind of cigar-shaped object. And it had a kind of a unique red hue on it. So it kind of looked like a Mars type of hue. It was 400 meters long, so it was relatively large, and it rotated, and it does kind of like a tumble, so go from end to end for every 7.5 hours. And what made us realize that this came from beyond our solar system was that compared to other asteroids in our solar system, it was composed of different types of metals, and it was incredibly bright. So that's why astronomers, with the short window they had, were interested in looking at this object, because it indicated like what we could understand about other solar systems forming within our galaxy beyond our own. Plus, it could have a unique history that we may, about our galaxy, that we may not have known of. Now, it came in from the direction of Vega, but we're not sure of its origins. And here's why. Like how you can see in this image, it originally came from Vega and got redirected and headed towards the constellation Pegasus. It may have done that with other solar systems. So this thing could have been out there for thousands of years, but we didn't know because it could have gotten diverted from another star. Basically, it could have done a ping ball shot. But even though it was originally classified as a comet, what was unique about it is it doesn't behave like a comet. Even though it got close to the sun, it didn't form a coma or a tail, but it behaved like a comet. All of a sudden, it started to accelerate as it got closer to our sun. And this acceleration was not because of the sun's gravity, but it felt like something was pushing it. Now, you can see how the media took this and thinking, oh, it was basically a warp drive. Well, in actuality, some astronomers with better equipment, including the Hubble Space Telescope, was able to take images and thought, hey, we noticed some outgassing. So maybe as it did get closer to the sun, it did show some thermal vents that did accelerate it towards the sun, kind of like similar how a comet is. So here's the Hubble image that was taken on November 2017. And you notice it kind of has this fuzzy blur. Like there was something going on with it, but not quite. And the image on the right was that basically a model that they were created that, okay, if it was like indeed a comet, it would look like it had a tail, but it doesn't. So they suspect that it possibly did have some outgassing, but very little. So what can it be? So let's talk real talk. It's not a UFO in the sense of aliens or anything. It's a UFO in the sense of it's an unidentified object from another solar system. It's not from our local neighborhood. Now, some astronomers have speculated because since they had such a narrow window of time to observe it, they couldn't get really detailed observations of it because it was going so fast. But we were able to find out a few different things. That one possibility, it could have been a comet, but it could be the dead core of a comet, that most of the gas had evaporated from interacting from other solar systems, and or maybe it didn't accumulate a lot of gas during its formation. And so therefore it was basically a big, huge rock with a little bit of ice and stuff like you normally see in comets, and it's mostly evaporated. So hence why you saw that little bit of outgassing, but not quite. One of the things that they also speculated that maybe it's hydrogen outgassing. So maybe hydrogen is very difficult to see in terms of a tail of a comet because it's such a diverse gas. Now, in order to be able to see a tail or comet, you have to have that hydrogen gas mixed with ice and dust and a bunch of other things to create the coma. Maybe it was just pure hydrogen gas rather than materials being ripped off. Another possibility that it is indeed an asteroid and it was ripped from another solar system. And that outgassing just happens to be just little traces of material that it collected as it went from one solar system to the next, and it just outgassed that whatever little material it collected over the time. And astronomers believe that there may be more objects like this. So the concept is not new, but it was just a fluke of a chance that we got to see something in our solar system. So this is what astronomers speculate Oumuamua is. So for those that did ask about it, here's my take on it. It's either one of these three possibilities. It was a comet that is basically the dead core of a comet, or it's an interstellar asteroid that ripped off from another solar system. Either way, it was an incredibly unique object, and it was a phenomenal opportunity to see something beyond our stars, that it literally came into our neighborhood. So it was a really cool thing to see. So that's Oumuamua. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down in the comments below. If there's a topic you would love for me to cover over, leave it down in the comments as well. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, never stop learning.